Alright, we're getting some more in-play on our camshaft. We tried changing out the washers, but 45 is the thinnest thing you can buy these days. There's no more 40s available. So, we already have a 44 in there, because I went through all of them and picked the thinnest one I had. So now we're going to a thicker gasket. So I went through all my gaskets and we found some off-brand stuff.
Which is about 30 thou.
It's about 10 thou thicker.
Mm-hmm.
So that means we should go back to a 50.
We should try this first.
You think we should try this first,
Yeah,
just to make sure?
I do.
Oh, okay. That's also going to gain us some clearances over here that were a little tight also. We were a little tight in a lot of places.
Just be careful when we screw that on.
The only problem is now we made this one looser, which we'll have to tighten up. So where'd the shims come from?
I think it was 2 and 1. I thought it was 2 and none for some reason, but
We'll find out in a minute. So
three
we'll have to
removes
tighten this
in
up by another 5 if we use it. I'll put the cam in where it belongs. Have to mark it. It's all about accuracy in parts. Where's our wash? There's a mark there. Where's your mark here?
yeah. Keep going.
How about that one? It's right on top. Where's your mark?
Here and here.
Yep. You have to rotate the washer going correctly. You're way off. You'll never get it in there with it pointing in that direction. Keep going. Flat spot's up. Get the washer on backwards. Flat spot goes to the rear. What are you doing? No, you're doing all right. You got a rotator wrong. Something.
Flat stops to the back.
You got it correct now, but you didn't. You put it right back where it was, but now it's right. It was wrong before, so I know what you did different. You're off by 2 T's with all your washers. You're not gonna make it to factory. You're too slow. Mark, mark. Washer went in.
Mm-hmm.
This one's trying to fall off. Put it back on. All right, put the cover back on it. See, all the clearance has shrunk from the high temperature we have around here.
Exactly.
Okay, don't go quite all the way. Get all the screws in there first. This gasket hasn't been form fitted yet. So get one up in here. That was your worst hole, I think. It's not going in because the gasket's too low.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta move the cover out now.
Cover out.
Yeah. Okay. I know it's off. So you just force it in there, it'll put a big eyebrow in the hole and gasket's in the wrong spot. See, this is a low gasket here, and this is a high cover, so
Mm-hmm.
this is a mismatch.
Sounds like there's beads in this still.
Was the other one mismatched too? Where did you get that from? I already had a screw in that hole, didn't we?
I think this one, this one, this
Okay.
one. Probably everything but that one.
Oh, okay. Well, now you know what you got to clean out better next
Yeah.
time. All right, we'll stick one in here while you're in here. You can pull that one out of there and stick it where it belongs. You got to clean that hole out better when you get the part.
Mm-hmm.
Feel the grit?
Mm-hmm.
There, right there. And one up 8 for the hell of it.
Tighten it down.
Yeah, push the cover all the way down though. Let's give it a whap right in the middle. Just like that. One shot. See if the motor rotates. Is it tight or free?
Oh, it's pretty good.
Okay, tighten up the rest of them. You always check before you tighten all the screws because a lot of times it'll lock up. And then whenever it's tight, you're making it extremely tight by forcing it.
Right.
Okay. Those are in play. Put your finger in it, go on it.
Much
Back
better.
forth.
Much better.
Somebody's fingered in the way I can't see. It's got clearance?
Mm-hmm.
I can hear it. We couldn't hardly hear anything before.
Right.
Yeah, we don't care what the number is. Oh yeah, nice and clear. Look at that clearance in there. That's good. Look at that. Oop. Too far. Damn it. Camera. Oh, it's a clearance. All right, put a 12 in there. See what happens. We had what, 4, 3 to 4. I guess what, 10 thicker or 8 thicker?
10.
10. So 12 should go in there.
Easy. A little bit of drag, but not much.
So we got 12. So if we take out 5,000, the shim will be at. You got 12 in there in your hand right now?
Yeah, that was 12.
Yeah. So it'll drop to a 7 if you do it. I like 8 to 12. And that's a new gasket, so I think we just leave the thick washer, the thin washer in there and have a little extra clearance, and it'll drop down to probably 10 when everything tightens up. And the high spots will probably bring it back out to 12, but it's better to be loose and tight. And the problem is our input in our other gear got a lot more I don't like. That's way too much. Should I leave the shim out there?
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll have to shim out. And that one's still alright, so we gained a buttload of clearance.
Unless one of those shims came with that one as well. But that's a lot. It's like 3 on there already.
Okay, get your feeler and gauge out and stuff it in there.
20,000 stuff.
Yeah. What are we hitting on? Well, we're not hitting on the gear, so it's a lot more than we had before. Seems like more than 10, but it's probably what it gained by.
That's the thickest you got on this one.
25?
Mm-hmm. That's still easy.
Okay, take out 2. Grab a 15 and a 16 right next to each other. Or a 14 and a 15, whatever works. You have to do math to figure out what it is. Too big?
Just.
Take off one. Take off the fat one. Just bring a skinny one from the bottom in. It'll drop you by 2.
No, we need to go. It's
Goes loose or
yeah,
tight?
it's still loose.
Oh, go the other way then.
Yeah.
So you go up 1. So when you drop 1 and go up 1, you gain 2 thou each time you go up. So now you got 17, 18, or you're 16 and 17.
Okay, 16, 17.
Okay.
Got.
Little clearance?
Yeah, little clearance there.
Okay. So you add those 2 up.
Mm-hmm.
Take off 10.
23, 12, 13.
How'd you get 13? Got 16 and 17.
Sorry, 23.
And you take off 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's new math, huh?
Right.
Math is required in building motors. Alright, so what do you got? Got 17 plus 6, 23. So we gotta try to find a 23,000 more shim. Okay, go ahead and take it off and we'll see if we can tighten that up a little bit. We got a big stack of shims on there. We'll have to consolidate some of that away. I think we're using rocker box shims, so get up thick enough we can use a cam shim. Or I mean a valve spring shim. So we got cam shims and rocker shims. Rocker shims are smaller. So these are 25s here, which they don't make anymore. I think these are 15. Yep, these are 15. So we have a 23 we needed. So it'd be a 15 and 7 will give you 22. Screwdriver the cam. Right here, where the lobe is. Bend the washer though. Turn the motor over a little bit. Put a lobe at the back side. Keep going. What do we stop on?
Jammed up on
Don't
something.
push it. Don't keep shoving. Look out. What do we hit on? The cam is too far over. See the cam gear hit the slider in there. So why are we... That's because you got the gear slid over. Which way are you going, up or down when I did it?
It's going down, I think.
That's out of the way. Move it over. Put the screwdriver on that side now. Okay, reach down. So you're going to get behind the case. Ready? So we have a new nick now on our lobe. You don't tear that gasket. They're valuable. Okay, so we have a big stack of shims here. Measure them up.
So we had 65 pound plus 23.
Mm-hmm.
So 88.
Got a pretty good lip on here. Doesn't really matter though, but... Yeah, how much?
88,000.
That's what we need is 88?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a 60. And a 25. How much is that?
83.
How much do we want?
85.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, 88.
we want 88?
Mm-hmm.
So let's grab a 7 out of here. Or do we already have a 7 out? What's this one? 15.
15.
Let's grab one of those. Should wind up with about 7 or 8 when we're done. Got one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll put the thick one against there. Camshion's real small diameter, we don't get caught in this, so I'll put that here. And we'll put a real thin shim here on top of that. That'll make this surface more flat when you push against it. Okay, go ahead and put everything back where it belongs. Where's our cam gear at? Where's our mark?
Keep going.
Right there. And we always put on the same tooth that we're going to run on, that way everything matches. I've had gear teeth were different. The washers are no problem. Push it down with your finger. Push it down. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. So quit fighting you. You want to mark or you mark off?
We're on it. On the mark, on the mark, mark.
Mark, mark, mark. Okay, Mr. Mark. Put it back together. Force it too much, you go right on. Don't get too tight, get screws in there. These are all big fat ones. This one is a 15. Throw 'em.
Just want to check if, make sure it wasn't hitting on the.
Well, either screws in or doesn't. If you fight it, just push the cover out slightly so the gasket can move around and it'll go right in. That's enough. That's why I always like starting all the screws before I pop it all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
When you glue it on, you put it in the right spot, so you have to worry about it, but we didn't glue anything down here. So it moves. This one over here. Alright, should be good. Check our endplay. Put your screwdriver in there, just slide back and forward. On the teeth. No, other teeth. Worm gear.
Oh, the one go. Mm-hmm.
Back and forth. So we got a little clearance in there. That's pretty good. Okay, tighten everything all up. Our cam's still got in play too, doesn't it? Oh yeah, plenty of clearance. And this one here, nice and free. Don't get too carried away. I'm not doing final torques right now. All right, put your finger in there. You probably just push down on it, or a screwdriver. It should slide easily.
Mm-hmm.
Turn them over a couple times, make sure nothing has a problem. No contacting the low of the gear. Okay, grab your feeler gauge. Pull out about an 8. Feels like about a 7 or 8 clearance to me. So we'll go to the high side. Didn't go?
Nope.
Okay, try 7. tight 7.
Yeah, tight 7.
So you got about a 6. So that might drop to a 5 after everything's torqued and everything, which is nice on the tight side, so you don't give a lot of play on that gear. When you have a lot of play on this gear, it changes your ignition timing a ton.
Oh, right.
Because it's on that worm gear. So the worm just goes back and forth with the worm gear. It makes a big change by the time you get to the distributor shaft. Causes a lot of difference in timing. So I always like trying to keep that one relatively close. And the cam has a lot more load on it, so you leave that looser. The circuit breaker gear has a constant load in one direction because it's always turning. It's turning the distributor and it's turning the generator, so there's always a load on it. This one here, it's valve train, so it goes back and forth as it goes up and down. Now take your 2 fingers, push it on this side and this side of the gear, and back and forth on the gear teeth. Any clicking or anything?
No, not that I feel.
So we're good and tight. Like we had to lap the hell out of that, so
Yeah.
wouldn't expect much clearance in there. Hopefully it doesn't whine when the bike's running. Usually you don't hear any clicking at all, they'll whine, even though they're free. Because we know it's got clearance because it slides, so it's not tight on it, but a little bit
A
here.
little bit, yeah.
That's your teeth clearance. Tooth engagement on the gear. Hopefully it wasn't this one here.
No, it was.
Yeah, see, I'm not touching the circuit breaker. The circuit breaker's really loose. That thing's got way too much clearance. Yeah, so it's got 2 or 3 thou gear clearance on your teeth, which is good. Probably only a couple. All right, all that to get back where we started.
Right.
All right, we'll get this mess cleaned up. We're gonna move on to the oil pump.